Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of City Sim Builds, and we are back in our town, which still does not have a name. So I'm thinking I might just name this Rivertown. Is that kind of boring? I think it is kind of boring. I don't know. I might come back and put an actual name here in the town, one that strikes my fancy as I'm going through. And if something pops in my mind, I might come and just rename it. But so what we did last episode was we created the beginnings of our ore industry over here. We have 5 small ore mines, and we have some of these ore grinding mills, and yeah, so that's been taking off. We also have this upgraded roadway connection, which goes to our new interchange over here, which looking at it, I'm not the biggest fan of how this looks, but it's functional right now, and that's fine right now. But the other thing we did was we expanded our city, and so what I'm thinking for this episode is to further expand the ore industry, and I want to create a new small town. And for that town, I wanted to create a mountain town. And when I say mountain town, I'm thinking of something like along the lines of like Breckenridge, maybe in Colorado, or Ouray, Colorado. Some of the towns you would find in Colorado or Utah, or just like in the Mountain West. And those tend to be higher elevation and kind of difficult to get to, and they're on the smaller side, and the uses there are really focused around skiing and recreation and being in nature. So the 2 spots I was looking at was over here on the edge of the map, this spot, which our town is over there, and then the other one was back over this way and an even higher location, and I'm kind of thinking this might be a better spot. It's set. You have this like nice valley that's settled in right here, and I think we could get a road up here pretty easily. And also, we already have our highway extension there, and we're gonna need eventually a bridge over here anyway. So this is where I'm gonna place our new town. So I'm gonna get started on some of the roads. Sorry, just one road leading up to this town. So I'm going to start back over here and extend our highway, our 2-lane highway, just a little bit, and I'm going to follow the river contours here to do that. So we'll come over here, and then we'll snake this around like that. And so looking up this way, we have like a pretty flat area here. I think this might be a good spot for a bridge to then go over there. And from here we can create another road eventually that goes along this side of the river, and then have something that does like some switchbacks up here into the mountains. So I'm going to go ahead and create another 2-lane highway segment, 90 degrees off of this. It's always finicky when you work with highways. I'm going to use a 2-lane road for right now, and then we'll upgrade that later. And this will also save us on cost, because I don't have a lot of money right now to spend on a new fancy bridge like this. But we're gonna make this work. And thinking here, maybe I can raise this up a little bit. Yeah, something like this. And then I'll bring it in somewhere around here. And then we'll tie into the existing ground. Let's see how this looks from the side. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So we're at 180. I think I'm gonna do that there. Okay. So then what I'm gonna do is start following some of these contours here to just get us a road that's a little bit more reasonable. I might use the freeform road tool here to do that. Actually, I'm going to make a bigger sweeping curve going this way. And then this will get us pointed in the correct direction that we want to go to. So from here, I want to switch. Well, first I'm going to head over here towards the rail line, and then I'm going to start doing some switchbacks up to get to our new town area, which will be right up in here. So let's get started with that. I think what I might do is come over here and about in here, and then Yeah, so I'm gonna come here and feed this off into a 90. And then bring this over. Ooh, these are some intense grades here. Let's see. I think I'm gonna continue this on. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Let's remove that. I'm going to come here. Bring this up to about here. And this is a pretty decently flat spot to then create a 90 to cross. And just to have this continue on a little further, we'll do something like that. And who knows where this will go in the future, but we'll expand upon that later. This is a nice spot here at the bottom of this valley where the rail is pretty flat. So we're gonna make a crossing, I think about right here, and we'll have this quickly go across at a 90. And then, ooh, that's not looking good actually. So we'll cross there. And I do not like how this, I do not like that. Let's see, maybe we can do something like this. Come off here. Yeah, that's much better. We're going to use our freeform row tool to come around like that. And then this is where we're going to start making our switchbacks up. So I think I'm going to pre-grade this a little bit. And again, I don't have my network multi-tool, so I can't really do this justice, but I'm going to go ahead and pre-grade this and do switchbacks coming up, and then we'll come back and fix it when that mod is fixed for me. Oh, and before I do that, what I'm going to do is create, so I'm going to come over here, increase my brush strength a little bit, pick a spot about here, create a pad, and then I'm going to connect this with a nice sloped area. Okay, there's one down and probably quite a few more to go. And I made a little bit of an error here, but that's okay. We'll soften this up a little bit. And I'm out of money. So I think we're gonna hold off on that for a little bit. We have done a lot of infrastructure here. So I think what I might do here, since we have pretty much ran out of money, is let the game run for a bit and make sure we're on solid financial footing before we do that, but so that we can build up our cash reserves to complete this road. And then we'll come back and revisit the grading and paving here. So be back in a little bit. All right, we're back, and I let the game run for a little bit longer, so I have now just over $300,000, which is great. And the other thing I did was I took a look at the mods to see what was going on, and I'm trying out the network multi-tool. It's like the beta version, I think it's like 1.4, but anyway, it seems to be working okay. So I'm going to continue on since we have plenty of money here, and I'm going to extend this road all the way up here so we can get started on our mountain town. Before I do that, one of the things that I noticed I was doing in terms of spending money was the grading here is great and everything, but I might just use the freeform road tool and come back with, now that I have the network multi-tool, and adjust some of the slopes. And the other thing is, I really need to, for this section, start using gravel roads. They're just way more, they're just way less expensive than what I've been using before. So I'm gonna go in and start adding some roads in here, and we'll see how things progress. And here I'm gonna try and use the freeform tool to just get us in the ballpark instead of grading, since we're kind of short on budget here. And before I finish this switchback section, I want to go in and place the center road for the main street in this new part of the town, or this new town, this mountain town. So I'm gonna go through and, yeah, this looks like a good flat area through here. So I'm going to place a nice straight road, something like that, I think. And then we'll tie this up into that. And I'm gonna follow the contours here where it looks like there's a valley between these two peaks here. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. And I'm gonna go here and back this off a little bit. And sorry for the jumping around. I just got a new mouse and it's definitely better, but I am not used to the sensitivity on it. I have it turned down all the way to the lowest setting, but yeah, so bear with me as I get used to that. But yeah, I think this is looking really good so far. So I'm gonna curve this down just a little bit. Oh, too much. Something like this, and then maybe what we'll do is change this a little bit. I'm liking that. I think it looks pretty good. The switchbacks in here are kind of nasty, but I think it's gonna be okay for now. Later on I might make some changes to this, but I'm gonna go through and adjust some of the slopes in here, and I'll be back with a modified version of that here soon. And I do not like the way that looks. I think for the time being, we're just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna come back and adjust some of the grading here. Whoa, okay, that's not good. That is not good. I'm gonna, I think, need another switchback in here. Yeah, I think I was being just a little over-eager with trying to get up to this mountain. All right, let's go through and look at the grades again. I'm still not loving that. Okay. I think I might landscape in here, raise the grade, adjust the grade some, and we'll just go with it. I need to get better at that. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna delete this segment, and I'm gonna just, I think, make a pad, since we do have plenty of money, and really get this to be more aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, and this is going to be a hairpin turn here. This is going to definitely be very, very tight, but we'll make it work. Okay, let's check our slopes again and do some adjustments. God, I do not like that. Do not like that. I think what I'm going to do, since I'm going to fill this section in and smooth things out and smooth this section out too, because I don't want to fiddle too much with this, because I really want the drainage to flow on this side, and then not really have a situation where the drainage is you know, just terrible over here. I want it to be pretty realistic in terms of what you would see in real life. I mean, you could have drainage on this side between both segments of the road here, but it's better to have that drainage kind of start here and then continue on down than have a pipe maybe here that would go under the road, and then really follow the contours here and have it go around, have water go around like that. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna just keep it like that, and we'll go through and fix the rest of this, and then we'll get started on our mountain town. Okay, kind of the same thing here. I'm going to raise this up. All right, I'm gonna go through and keep hitting the budget panel. I'm gonna go through and modify some of the the grading in here, just to flatten things out a little bit. And this is something you really might see in leading up to a mountain town, like where you just have to do like a heavy cut through here. And God, this would be a pretty drive through here with all these trees. It looks wonderful. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that's realistic that you would have to do, depending on, you know, what kind of, you know, grades you that are acceptable for this kind of area. So, but yeah, I think this looks pretty good. So, and when we get back up to here, we're in the nice plateau section where we're going to place our mountain town. So I'm going to go ahead and start gridding out these streets, and this is going to be a very like basic grid up here. So this, we can probably extend this out a little further. And so looking at our terrain, this is kind of like the midpoint where I think we're gonna be focusing on. Yeah, and so right now we're just going for something very simple. I think this might be it. I want to run commercial, about 3 units deep on each side down the center. Just because I feel like that's kind of what you typically have in these sort of mountain towns. And then on the sides, you have typically all your residential. You might have like a couple pockets of commercial up here. And I'm going to dezone this just in case we need it in the future. And I might add one more little pocket over here. And then I'm going to fill this in. Add in some of our amenities. So we definitely will need a fire station up here. And I think it might be best to have access on this side as we go down the mountain. That way, if there's a forest fire, we can have better access there, but it still provides great coverage up here. And then, oh, sorry, too far in. And then we I think probably need a school. I think we could be fine with an elementary school for just now. So I'll place this on the other side of town, and let's see, we'll probably need a medical clinic. And I'll do that on the opposite side of the street. So I'm gonna take the time and run water up here, and I might add some more windmills just so that we can kind of almost have our own separate utility system up here, at least in terms of electricity. All right, that was definitely a lot of piping. So we'll go back up here, and we are out of, we don't have any electricity, so I'm gonna go through and add a few windmills. And this looks like a good spot over here because it's far away from our town. And we'll probably just run a quick electrical line. Something like that I think will work. We'll speed things up and see how this progresses. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. We don't have really any commercial demand right now, and that's fine. But this will fill in over time. I think we have like one spot here. This is a drugstore. Gotta have a drugstore up here. That's pretty important. And I think this is looking okay for right now. And this is about all I wanted to do with this. And this is taking care of some of our residential demand. But what I might do is extend the grid a little bit. And where I do this, I'm going to follow some of the contours here. But first, we need to change some of the water piping here so we can have better coverage. And I might turn my snap twos back on because I really had to take that off when I was going down the mountain. It was just, I don't know why I went through and selected all of them and then hit all. That was ridiculous. But anyway, going down the mountain, that was tough, very tedious. But yeah, so I'm gonna go through and add extend this out, and then when we get over here, I think we can keep things pretty good until we get about here, because we really start to have some changes in our terrain. But on this side, I think that's going to be a little different. So we'll come through to here, we'll tie that up, but I think we're going to have to hug the terrain here a little bit. We'll get our freeform tool, kind of come around like this, not so far, something like that. Kind of fall in this contour line. About like, let's zoom in here. So let's have this be about right there. And then we'll connect this off like that. I think that's looking pretty good. This will give you some different lots up here. So from up here, you might have like a better vantage point of town, which would be nice. And when you go to these mountain towns, you do see some of these intense grades. And I mean, it's not uncommon. Like even up here at like on the next level, you might have some more winding roads that go up and switch back that have some pricier homes. But yeah, since we have such high demand in our residential, I'm gonna fill this in. And oh, I need to finish the roadway network here. Let me do that real quick. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And then I'm gonna come over here and tie this in to here. So we'll do something like that. And then we'll use our freeform road tool to snake this over here. And then we'll use the curve tool and get a better connection to there. I think that looks pretty reasonable. That grade doesn't look too terrible. I could check it, but I'm gonna just keep it as it is right now. So I'm gonna go through and zone more residential. All right, that's looking good. And we don't have enough workers. And I think that's kind of tied to our residential demand. But so I'm gonna add a little bit more piping down here, and then I'm gonna let this area kind of be for a little bit, and then we're gonna go focus on the ore industry before we wrap up the episode today. Okay, that's looking good. And maybe later on, since this is kind of a dead end, you know, most mountain towns, they will continue through. And I don't know what the best solution for that is, but just to provide access back down the mountain, maybe what I'll do is, I don't think I'm going to touch this area, but what I might do is extend a road that does a lot of switchbacking down and comes down over here. And maybe there's another town here, like on the river bend. But we don't have a name for this town, and we don't have a name for this town. So if you have any ideas or preferences for that, please let me know in the comments down below, and we'll go with that. Oh, it looks like we have a garbage issue. Maybe I'll place something there before we move on. Maybe what I'll do is I'll place a recycling center. So I might go in and put that there and see if that helps. And before we move on to the ore industry, I did notice that I did not paint a district here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for the town. So something like that. And then also down here, I did not extend the district for what is called Myrtle District, and I do not like that name. I feel like Myrtle District is like such a common thing that the game populates, but anyway, for the time being, I'm just going to call this Rivertown, and we're going to go with it. So let's go over here and take a look at our King Reef Ore Industry, and I don't like that name. There's not any reefs nearby. Let's go for alliteration and call this Mountainside Mining Company. Okay. And let's take a look at the industry and see what's going on here. So we are turning a profit now, which is great, but we still need more workers to level up, and we need to produce more. Actually, we're good on the resources produced, so it's really a worker situation. So let's go in and take a look and see what we can do about that. Okay, so I'm thinking here what I might need to do is just maybe let this run for a little bit and see how things progress with the employment. I wonder if we upgrade the mountain road, since we do have the funds, if that will allow more people to come down the mountain, I guess, a little bit more easily. I might do that. Yeah, let's take care of that, and then I'll be back in a moment. And I'm gonna come back here and modify this spot. It's just not working out, and plus this curve is way too tight. Same thing here. I'm gonna modify this a little bit. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's go back down. Let's see. So we are definitely getting some traffic along here. I'm gonna modify this though. Ooh, yeah, these grades are just too much here. I'm gonna go back, delete that. We'll rethink this. That is looking pretty bad, but let's see if we can go in and slope it and see if that will help things out. Yeah, that's looking better. That's looking way better. Okay, cool. All right, then let's go take care of those other, or I think that one other spot. It was down here. I really wasn't a fan of how much it was cutting into the hillside here anyway. So I wonder if I can do something about that. I think this might be a situation where I pre-grade. I'm gonna back this up and we'll adjust it from there. So let's create a landing pad there. Little piece of flat ground. We'll do this. We'll do something about in here. Okay, I think we can work with that. So let's go in and add our roadway segment. Oh, and we're losing money. So we're gonna have to, I'm gonna pause. I don't wanna get too far along with that and have any issues. Let's do like this. And let's back this up a little bit, and then we'll use our curved road tool. Find the guideline. We'll just kind of wing it. I think that'll be good. Okay, that's looking much better. Let's go in and check the slopes on this one. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh, no. I don't like that. I don't want to go through that process again, so I am just going to make this work. I'm going to terraform. And this isn't ideal. This is not ideal, but I don't want to spend too much more time on this road. It's kind of taking up a lot of the episode. But yeah, we'll go through and soften the terrain though a little bit, make it seem a little bit more natural. Yeah, that's looking much better. And look at all this traffic up here now, coming up the mountain. That looks good. Let's zoom out and take a look. And yeah, so Lake Hills. Don't really know how I feel about that name, but I don't know. Yeah, if you have any ideas about what you think this mountain town should be called, yeah, drop it down in the comments down below. And I'm gonna set this to European, and let's see if there are any policies we want to enact. I don't really think I want to do anything right now with that, but I think what I might do is add a little dog park before we head back down and take a look at our ore industry. All right, so let's see what's going on over here. I think it's still probably a worker issue. That's the problem. We're so close. We have 123 to 150. Let's see if we can level this up to a level 2, and that might help us further things along. So I wonder if we can add a little bit more residential back in here. I think that might be a good idea. So I remember in the last episode I was going to save this area for a university. So I'm going to keep that, but I wonder if there's some things that we can do to extend the grid a little bit that makes sense to fill in this area. I don't want to go too far, but I do want to add a little bit more residential capacity here. So I'm going to go through and change some of the grid, or not change some of the grid. Oh my goodness. Wait, before I do that, I realized I did not even connect this back up, and that is not good. So I'm going to definitely do that, because all of our traffic right now is going all the way around. Well, I guess they can come over here. That's not terrible, but I'm gonna make that change real quick. So we're gonna come off here at a 90. Let's go a little further. Let's get the straight road tool. Come off about here, something like that, and then we'll curve down. Then we'll check our. It's not exactly perfect. I might move it a little bit. Oh, too much. Okay, straighten that up a little bit. Move that node a little bit, and that's close. It doesn't have to be a perfect 90 by any means. Just as long as in real life, you want these connections to be greater than 60, 70%, ideally greater than 70% in terms of the angle between the main road and the Y line, which is like the side road. Anything less than that causes too great of a skew and is not good in terms of safety and performance as well, but mainly safety. But let's go through and check the grades real quick on this little segment, and then I'll fill in the residential sections here in a moment. All right, that's much better. Okay, so we'll come over here and we'll take a look. It might be nice to have another connection over here to the highway, the 2-lane road. So I'm wondering if, so we have one there. Why don't we connect this road up to here somewhere? And that's gonna cause some grading issues, but we can take care of that. Now that we have our tool back, which is amazing. All right, so I'm gonna do something like that. And we'll go through and fix the grades. If I can select it. So we'll come from here down to here, just that. And then we'll go through and soften the terrain a little bit here. Bring this out a little bit. Something like that. I think that looks pretty good. Then let's see if we can add a few more residential connections in here. So, and I like that this kind of comes down and has like this nice termini here. That's pretty cool. So what if I'm debating whether or not to sneak this around with a curve. I think I'm going to do that. Let's come off straight, and then we'll have a tight curve that comes back over, and then we'll kind of follow some of our guidelines over here. Let's bring that back out like that. And I might make it, no, I'm going to leave it like that, I think. Okay, so let's come over here, and that's a good spot because it's in the midpoint. I wonder if I can just bring this around and curve it behind the gymnasium here. Let's try that. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. This is kind of an intense slope here, but sometimes that happens, As I mentioned before, you really have to work with the terrain that you have. So I'm gonna go through and add a curve road segment right here. I don't want to mess with this natural feature, so maybe I'll back this up a smidge. I don't know if I can do that. I'm gonna have to rethink this. Okay, and what I'm thinking here is I'm going to redo this section right here, go about halfway, and then I'll curve it into that road, the new road we just built. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we'll use our freeform road tool to finish out the segment here, and we'll kind of follow the topography here. I think that's okay. Even though it's not a 90, I think it'll work just fine. And I'm kind of breaking my rule here of what I just said. That angle is a little too intense for my liking, so I'm gonna change that. I think some character here, and like this is sort of like an S curve. I think that's fine for this, because this is the older part of the town, and this might be a little bit more of a suburban type setting, So I think this will work just fine. But that doesn't mean we can't go through and extend our grid where it makes sense. And I'm thinking here might have a connection that meets up about here. Something like that. I think that looks okay. All right, so let's zone this, and I'm gonna come over here and get to zoning. And I'm just gonna go for it and paint this whole area. And hopefully that will help us out in terms of the employment that we need related to the ore industry. I'm gonna leave this like that. Just have a little buffer between the highway and the rest of town. Oh, and we need our pipes. All right, it's looking good. So let's speed things up and we'll see what happens. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. It's filling out, and that's definitely taking care of our residential demand. So let's go over here and take a look how close we are with the ore industry. And it was saying something, maybe not enough raw materials, but I feel like it was doing pretty well. So 132. What if we expanded this some? I'm thinking let's do that. So we have small ore mine, we have that ore industry main building, we have sand storage, which I don't think we have that yet. I'm gonna go and place one of those. Let's place one there. Ooh, and that just barely fit with the fire station right there. That's pretty funny. And then I might add, let's see. I might add one more ore grinding mill. Let's see how we're doing with employees. 25 out of 25, 23. These are 11 out of 25. Maybe I'll do another, yeah, I'm gonna place one more of the ore grinding mills and see if that levels us up. Oop, and I just made a little mistake, and I don't want to pay for the cost of relocating that, so I'm going to just do that, and we'll see what that does in terms of how we are functioning. Yes, we did it. So we leveled up to 2. We got an ore industry workers barracks. We have an industrial steel plant, glass manufacturing plant, ore storage, and a small ore mine underground. Great. So we got to level 2 with our ore industry at Mountainside Mining Company. I think that name really fits because it is right beside a mountain. Yeah. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We did a lot of things here. We created a new bridge across the river, a pretty major bridge, big piece of infrastructure. We laid out some of the roadway network on the other side of the river that's going to come into play as we expand the county. We also spent a lot of time on this switchback going up to the mountain town that we have up here, currently called Lake Hills, but we're going to change that to a different name. And, I think I'm going to come back and maybe modify some of this, maybe add, I don't know, maybe I'll add some residential or, something up here extra. So the other thing we did was we extended our roadway network a little bit in town, which was also great. And then lastly, we got this up to level 2, which is the main thing I wanted to accomplish. So we do have some problems here in town. Looks like we have a garbage issue, a few abandonments, not too many, and maybe death care. So we'll address that all in the next episode. But yeah, if you like the video, please leave a comment down below and hit the like button. That really helps me out. And also don't forget to subscribe. That also really helps me out. I'm really trying to grow this channel and expand the my capabilities and what I can do in this game, and that'll definitely help me out and give me some encouragement to plan for. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you back in the next one.